My name is Andrea Coyle. I'm 32, and in a family built on old East Coast money, immaculate reputations, and a disturbing obsession with perfection, I've always been the one crack in the porcelain. My brother Chase inherited the charm, the spotlight, the legacy, while I earned the role of the afterthought, the annual inconvenience whose birthday they forget even when I'm standing in the same room. I learned early how to swallow disappointment without making a sound, but this year something in me finally snapped. Because before the champagne at Chase's extravagant party even stopped bubbling, I discovered a secret about my family, one forged signature, one stolen inheritance, that would turn my quiet resentment into open war. And it all started the night they celebrated him and erased me. Tacoma was soaked in rain. Again. I stepped out of the black car and into a puddle that swallowed my heel.
Typical.
The front desk guy didn't even look up. Just the sound of water trailing behind me and my own breath echoing in the empty lobby of the Terrace. Elevator. Floor 12. The ding of metal doors shutting felt louder than usual. 12 hours in boardrooms. A $3.8 million contract signed. Clients hugging me like I'd saved their lives. And not one text message from my family. Not one. My apartment was cold. I'd left the lights off this morning. The small cake I picked up, just something cute for myself, sat on the kitchen island like a crime scene. One candle. Not lit. My coat dropped. My heels kicked away. I walked barefoot to the living room, flicked open Instagram. First image. Chase, tuxedo, smug smile, arm around dad, champagne in hand. Caption. Surprise 35th for our future legend.
So proud, so honored, so...
The mansion behind them? My grandmother's. The one I was supposed to inherit, until it was donated to the family foundation. I scrolled. More photos. Mother in diamonds. Fireworks over the Hudson. String quartet. Red carpet. They flew in guests from Europe. No one called me. Not even a goddamn emoji. Then the email pinged. Subject. Property transfer. Final confirmation. Body. Transfer of ownership for Estate 1123 Eastvale, Cold Spring, New York has been successfully completed. Documents signed by Andrea Coyle.
What?
My pulse stuttered. The estate was Chase's now? I didn't sign anything. I didn't even know the paperwork was in motion. I opened the attachment. PDF of the deed. My signature.
Clean.
Identical to the one on my passport. But I never touched this. Never saw this. I stood there frozen, a hand still on the phone. Something cold cut through me. Not confusion. Not shock. Recognition. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a glitch. This was something planned. I grabbed my laptop. Logged into my legal folder. Empty. Last month, I uploaded the trust copy for safekeeping. Now it was gone. I checked again. Nothing.
No backups.
The doorbell rang. I didn't move. Another ring. A long one. I walked to the door. Looked through the peephole. No one. Beneath the door, a slip of paper. I slid it out. One sentence, printed bold, black, center-lined. Happy birthday. Enjoy the fireworks. My throat dried. I looked back at the screen. At my forged signature. At the estate now legally his. At the photo of them celebrating under chandeliers that once belonged to my grandmother, mine. I whispered into the silence. I didn't sign anything, but someone made damn sure it looks like I did.
Đã dùng 72% bộ nhớ nếu hết bộ nhớ, thì bạn không thể lưu tệp vào tờ giai hoặc sử dụng Gmail.
I booked the red eye. No luggage. Just my laptop, a locked folder on an encrypted drive, and the printed deed with my fake signature. JFK greeted me with cold rain and cab drivers who didn't look twice. By 7 a.m., I stood outside Winters and Row, the family's law firm for 3 generations. A stone fortress in Midtown. Too quiet for a Monday. Marble floors. Cold lighting. Receptionist too young to know who I was, until I said my name. Then she stopped breathing. Mr. O is unavailable. Tell him it's about forged legal documents tied to estate fraud. He'll find the time. I didn't wait. Walked straight into the private elevator. Still remembered the code. 6-7-1-9. My grandmother's birthday. The doors opened to a wall of glass and power suits. Vin Rose stood at the end of the hallway. Silver hair, blood-red tie. His eyes flicked to mine and narrowed, like he'd hoped I was dead. You weren't expected. Neither was my signature on a property transfer. He didn't blink.
Come in.
His office smelled like leather, bourbon, and secrets. I dropped the deed on his desk. I didn't sign this. Vin glanced down. This was processed weeks ago. Your name's on it. Forgery is still a crime in this state. So is wire fraud. So is conspiring to defraud a beneficiary. He smiled. Big words. You sure you want to throw them around without evidence? Try me. He tapped the desk. Digital doc. Time-stamped. Logged through DocuSign. Your two-factor verification matched. Face ID, too. My chest tightened. Impossible. Nothing's impossible, Andrea. Just expensive. I stood there, fists clenched. The room shrank. The walls pressed in. You know what my grandmother wanted, I said. She told me. In writing. In person. Your grandmother was
confused. Ill.
We both know that. She died in perfect mental health. What changed? Vin leaned forward. The family did. I left. I called Camille from a sidewalk payphone in Brooklyn. Not because I didn't have a cell, but because I knew someone was listening. Camille Dunn. My best friend until she wasn't. Once the paralegal who saw too much. She answered after 5 rings. Andrea? They forged my name. Silence. Then, meet me in an hour. Brooklyn Heights. Same bookstore. The bookstore smelled like paper and mildew. Camille wore a black hoodie, no makeup, eyes like she'd been awake for a year. You're not safe, she said.
No hello.
Neither are you. She pulled a flash drive from her coat. I shouldn't have this. It's illegal, but I saved it. I took it. What is it? The original will. Your grandmother's voice memo. Backup she recorded a week before she died. It was deleted from the firm's system. Why would she do that? She didn't trust Desmond. I froze. My cousin? She said he visited her late at night. Pressure her to change it. Said he'd make Chase look guilty of theft if she didn't. My breath caught. They buried you, Andrea, Camille whispered. And no one even sent flowers. I stood. I'm going to fix this. She grabbed my wrist. They know you're moving. You're being watched. I left anyway. Next morning, I rang Camille. No answer. Midnight. I called again. Voicemail. I went to her apartment.
Door ajar.
Lights off. Inside wrecked. Like a struggle. Table flipped.
Laptop smashed.
Blood on the edge of the counter.
No Camille.
Just a sticky note on the mirror. 2 words in red ink. Too late. I backed out. Pulled my phone. Called 911. But stopped. If I filed a report, the firm would know I was in possession of illegal evidence. The will. The memo. No one would protect me. I left the building, heart racing. Outside, across the street. SUV, blacked out windows, engine running. It pulled away when I turned. I felt it then. Not panic. Not grief. Hunted. If Camille's gone, I'm next.
Đã dùng 72% bộ nhớ. Nếu hết bộ nhớ, thì bạn không thể lưu tệp vào đời dài hoặc sử dụng Gmail.
I didn't go back to the hotel. I took the first train north. Cold Spring. 2 hours out of Manhattan. The air was sharper. The rain here felt more deliberate, like it wanted you gone. I stayed off the grid. Paid cash for a burner phone. Drove a rented Jeep to the edge of the property. My grandmother's house, now legally Chase's, looked like a stage set. Too perfect, too silent. Black shutters. Curtains drawn. Like it knew I was coming. I parked 2 blocks away. Walked under the cover of pine trees. The side gate still had the broken latch. My hand fit into it like muscle memory. I slipped inside. The estate was supposed to be under renovation, but the place looked untouched. No construction equipment, no crew, just stillness. The lights were off, except for a soft glow from the upstairs hallway. I crept in through the kitchen door. My heart pounded so loud, I could feel it in my teeth. My grandmother's study was still intact. The room smelled like old paper and lemon oil. Books lined the walls, first editions, mostly untouched. I ran my fingers along the edge of the desk. Third drawer on the left.
Locked.
I picked it with a paperclip.
Click.
Inside, a leather notebook, sealed envelopes, and exactly what I didn't expect, practice sheets.
Dozens of them.
My name, written over and over. Slanted, tilted, left-handed, right-handed. They forged me by hand. One note had red underlines, curved too sharp on a try softer loop. I blinked. Someone studied me. I took photos. All of it. My hands were shaking. A creak. I froze. Another sound, upstairs. I grabbed the notebook, slipped it into my coat, and backed out. The hallway lights were still on. At the top of the stairs, shadows moved. I ducked into the butler's pantry. Held my breath. Footsteps.
Slow.
Deliberate. I peeked through the cracked door. A man. Medium build. Dark hoodie. Black gloves. He passed me. I exhaled, too loud. He turned.
Chase.
His face. It was him. But something was off. His eyes were wild. His skin sweaty.
Pale.
"Who's there?" he said. He stepped closer. I bolted. Through the back into the trees.
He chased.
His shoes slammed on wet dirt. Slipped once. Recovered. I reached the Jeep. Dove in. Locked the doors. He banged on the window. "Why were you in there?" he shouted. "Why are you doing this?" I didn't answer. He backed off. Disappeared into the trees. I sat there, chest heaving. "You're not supposed to question the golden one," I whispered to myself. Later. Motel off Route 301. Fluorescent lights buzzed above a cracked mirror. I dumped the notebook onto the bed. Spread out every page. Then I plugged in the flash drive Camille gave me. One audio file.
Corrupted.
I ran decryption. Playback began.
Static.
Then her voice. My grandmother. "I'm not changing it again. I don't care what Vin says." Then another voice. Male.
Low. Sharp.
"You're making a mistake. Andrea doesn't know how to protect the family."
Pause.
She snapped. "At least she doesn't lie." The male voice hissed something inaudible. Then a bang. End of recording. I rewound. Slowed it down. Enhanced background. Ran it through pitch analysis. The algorithm locked in one name. Desmond. My cousin. Supposedly cut out of the will years ago. Left with nothing.
Now?
He had motive. Access. And my signature in his back pocket. I left the laptop running diagnostics. Stepped outside. Needed air. Needed space. The motel parking lot was empty. Almost. A car idled across the street. Headlights off. Windows tinted. Same SUV from Brooklyn. Same hum. I walked back inside. Didn't turn around. When I opened the laptop, the screen was black. Then flickered. The audio file was gone. Erased. Everything Camille gave me. Deleted. Except one file still playing. My voice. A recording I never made. I, Andrea Coyle, authorized the full transfer. I slammed the lid shut. They stole the evidence. But I still have the voice.
Đã dùng 72% bộ nhớ. Nếu hết bộ nhớ, thì bạn không thể lưu tệp vào đời dài hoặc sử dụng Gmail.
I didn't sleep. I drove. Through fog. Through rain. Through the kind of silence that tastes like metal. My destination wasn't on GPS. It wasn't marked anymore. They'd removed the address from the estate registry a month ago. But I knew how to get there. Cold Spring. The old house in the pines. The one with a secret buried under every floorboard. At 4:17 a.m., I parked behind the gardener's shed. Same Jeep. New plates. I moved fast. Hood up.
Gloves on.
Headlamp dimmed. The renovation was a lie.
No cruz. No permits.
Just a giant tarp strung across the front, like they were trying to hide rot. But the structure stood still. Quiet. Like it had seen this kind of betrayal before. I stepped onto the porch. The third board creaked. Always did. Inside smelled like dust and mothballs. Furniture covered in plastic. Shadows breathing. I headed to the east wing. Her room. My grandmother's bedroom was stripped, but not gutted. I closed the door behind me, pulled back the carpet. Same one she used to call the blood rose, wine red, handwoven. The floor beneath was uneven. I tapped until I heard it. Hollow. Left of the dresser. Pulled the pry bar from my coat. Crack. Would split. Inside, wrapped in oilcloth, was a black envelope. I pulled it out, heart hammering. Inside, a notarized will. Stamped 3 weeks after the one currently on file. Dated.
Signed.
Witnessed. My name. Only mine. Not Chase's. Not Desmond's. And a letter. In her handwriting. If you're reading this, they lied. Again. They'll bury the truth if you let them. Don't let them. My hands shook. I scanned every page. Took photos. Stored the envelope in a waterproof pouch and slipped it under my coat, pressed to my chest. That's when I heard the engine.
Fast.
Aggressive. I froze. Headlights cut across the window. I dropped to the floor. Doors slammed. Footsteps on gravel. 2 voices. Men. One said, "Check the back." I crawled to the hall. Slipped through the side doorway into the sunroom. A second later, glass shattered behind me. They were in. I ran. Through the corridor. Out the servants' exit. Through the hedges. Footsteps behind me. Closer. Breath hard in my throat. I hit the Jeep, yanked the door, dove in. Started it. Tires screamed. In the rear view, one of them was chasing. The other reached the driveway, raised a hand. Something glinted.
Gun.
A shot rang out. Missed. I turned. Cut across the main road.
Gone.
10 miles out, I pulled off into a service station. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I checked the envelope again. Still there. Still real. And suddenly, a thought hit me sharp. Someone expected this. They knew I'd come looking. This wasn't an overlooked document. It was planted. To be found. I opened the last page again. At the bottom, in the margins, in different handwriting. She won't find this in time, Desmond. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a rescue. It was a trap. I dumped the Jeep. Took a taxi into Manhattan. Destination, the gala. Desmond was hosting. Tonight. Midtown rooftop. PR stunt to announce the Coyle Foundation's renewed commitment to integrity. The irony made me laugh in the cab.
Short.
Bitter. They always raise their glasses after they've gutted the corpse, I muttered. I changed in a bathroom at the Waldorf. Black dress. Hair slicked back. Red lipstick. Camera hidden in clutch. Documents on a second flash drive around my neck. I slipped in through service access. Walked through the kitchen. Past the bartender. Up freight elevator. Stepped into the gala like I belonged. Desmond was in the center of the room, glowing in navy silk and champagne. I walked straight toward him. Smile sharp. "Cousin," I said, handing him a drink. "To family." He blinked. Smiled too late. Recognition crawled across his face like a rash. "Andrea," he said slowly. "You've been missed." I leaned in. "You buried the will." He froze. I smiled. "And now I'm going to bury you." I turned. Walked to the DJ booth. Slipped the flash drive into the laptop. A video lit up the back wall. Grainy footage. Audio low. Desmond's voice. "She'll never sign. We'll have to fake it."
Gasps.
He turned. Too slow. Chairs scraped. Phones came out. Someone shouted, "Is that real?" Desmond rushed me. I didn't flinch. Security tackled him mid-step. The crowd exploded. Flashing lights.
Screams.
I stood still, hand on the necklace around my throat.
Heartbeat calm.
But one thought sliced through everything. It's not over. The person who sent me that footage wasn't done.
Đã dùng 72% bộ nhớ. Nếu hết bộ nhớ, thì bạn không thể lưu tệp vào đời dài hoặc sử dụng Gmail.
It should have ended at the gala. Desmond was cuffed. Security swarmed. The press exploded. But real power doesn't bleed under stage lights. It bleeds behind boardroom doors. 2 days later, I met Vinro at a rooftop bar in Tribeca. Private table.
No reservation.
He was already waiting, glass of scotch in hand, smile cut like glass. I thought we'd be meeting in court, I said, sitting. He raised a brow. Why ruin a good view with paperwork? I played your client's confession in front of 100 witnesses. You played noise.
I leaned in.
I have the real will. Do you? He asked, sipping. Because what I heard is that file doesn't exist anymore. The one Camille handed you? He smiled.
Slow. Sharp.
My heart stopped. I hadn't told anyone that part. No one but Camille. You were listening, I said. Camille trusted the wrong cloud storage. You trusted the wrong friend. My fingers clenched under the table. He dropped his voice. You think this is about property? This is about legacy. The Coyle name doesn't survive scandals. It erases them. I slid a flash drive across the table. This one's real. On a public ledger. Already time-stamped. Already mirrored. His smile twitched. I stood. We're done. Vin's last words followed me to the elevator. There's always another will, Andrea. You just don't know who wrote it yet. Back at my hotel, a plain envelope waited at the concierge. No return address. Inside, a second flash drive. Label, play me first. I locked the door. Slid the drive into a clean laptop. Video loaded.
Shaky.
Night vision. A hidden camera inside a house. My grandmother's voice. I've already changed the will. Andrea will inherit. I want nothing going to Desmond. A second voice.
Male. Calm.
You're making a mistake. Desmond. Then a third voice. Not male. Not Desmond. My mother. I told you not to record this. My stomach turned. In the footage, she steps forward, puts her hand over the camera. The screen goes black. I replayed it. Over and over. She wasn't collateral. She was in it. She lied to me. Protected Desmond. Helped Finn bury the truth. The woman who once told me, truth isn't what's spoken, it's what survives the room, had made her choice. I drove to her townhouse in Sutton Place. Mid-morning. Quiet. Controlled. She opened the door like she expected me.
Come in.
No questions. She wore pearls and a silk blouse. Tea already steeping. The same brand she used when I was a kid. I know why you're here, she said. You lied. I chose family. I am family. Her gaze dropped. You were never the heir they wanted. That wasn't your call. It wasn't yours either. She slid a folder across the table. Birth certificate. Not mine. Desmond's. Father, unknown. Mother, Elizabeth Coyle. Your grandmother took him in, hid it, protected him more than she ever protected you. I stared at the name. My mother wasn't just covering for Desmond. She was his sister. My grandmother's second child. Hidden. Illegitimate. The doorbell rang. We both froze. 3 knocks.
Slow.
Rhythmic. Like punctuation. I stood. She didn't. A voice outside. Miss Coyle. NYPD. We need a word. My mother didn't move. I opened the door. 2 detectives. Badges up. Ms. Andrea Coyle? Yes. You're under investigation for possession of falsified legal documents and unauthorized surveillance. The room spun. I turned to her, but she was already walking away, already calling her lawyer, already done with me. They always raise their glasses after they've gutted the corpse. I didn't fight, didn't run. I handed them the flash drive and whispered, if this is what it costs to survive this family, burn the name with it.
đã dùng 72% bộ nhớ. Nếu hết bộ nhớ, thì bạn không thể lưu tệp vào đời dài hoặc sử dụng Gmail.
Rain traced the window like a slow confession. I watched it from the living room of the lake house, mine now. Bought in cash. Titled clean.
No inheritance, no litigation.
Just a set of keys and my name on the deed. This time, no one could take it. They tried. God, they tried. Desmond pled guilty.
Wire fraud, coercion, abstraction.
His deals spared him years, but not legacy. His name burned in headlines. The forgotten heir who faked it all.
Vinho vanished.
Rumor was he fled to the Caymans. The Bar Association opened a federal inquiry. His reputation went first. My mother? She called once. Left no message. I deleted it. Sometimes silence is the loudest kind of betrayal. The DA dropped the charges against me. Not because I was innocent, they knew I was, but because I had proof that would burn the whole tree, not just the branches. I didn't give them everything. Some things I kept. Some things needed to die, with the fire that built them. The wind hit the lake like a whisper. The kind that said you're still standing. I brewed coffee. Strong. Black. No sugar. Camille resurfaced last week. Rehab finished. Her voice steadier. She said, "You were the only one who didn't look away when the money started moving." We talked for an hour. She didn't ask for forgiveness. I didn't offer it. Some people earn their way back by walking beside you, not begging at your feet. On my birthday, I didn't expect calls. I didn't need them. Instead, I sat on the porch wrapped in a wool blanket, dog-eared novel on my lap, sunlight cracking through the clouds like glass splitting. And I thought, they tried to erase me,
to forge me out of history.
but they didn't understand something fundamental. You can fake a signature. You can alter a name. But you can't rewrite someone who finally decides to write herself in. My phone buzzed. One notification. A post on social media. I opened the camera.
Took a photo of the lake.
Mist curling like breath over the water. The stillness looked like power now. Caption. Birthday gift. To myself. I logged off. Set the phone aside. Leaned back. Because here's what they never taught you in my family. Legacy isn't what you inherit. It's what you survive.